My name is Paulina. I'm a compulsive overeater. I weigh and measure my food off the gray sheet. I commit it to a sponsor. I don't eat between meals. And it's the most important practice I do in my day, every day. And I live right now in Santa Monica, California, although I got abstinent in New York City. Or I found Gray Sheet when I'm living in New York City, and also spent a couple of years in the London community, and before returning to where I grew up. And I'm 62 years old, and let's see what else. And I came into Gray Sheet when I came into regular OA when I was almost 24. So I was 23. I made the leap from regular OA to Gray Sheet when I was about 29, almost 30. And I have been counting days of consecutive abstinence since 1992, whatever, how many years that is, like 20, anyway, since 1995, sorry, since December 1995, I've been counting consecutive days of abstinence. And so it's been a minute. And there's been so many different chapters in abstinence that I'm not sure. I'm going to try, like, what is the most important thing here? And I was telling Kim beforehand, I just pray to be a channel. And for me to even say that is such a different orientation for my life, because when I went into the rooms just of regular OA, my motivation was I was 23. I had just moved to New York City, and I had this dream of living the kind of the jet set life, getting taken out to clubs and all that, but I had to knock off a few pounds to put on these little black dresses and go to clubs and to, lose weight. And what I found in the 12 step, I say I moved to New York to spend my time in nightclubs and ended up spending 15 years in church basements instead, because I found myself in an OA meeting. And my years in OA, I have nothing bad to say about it. I appreciated the help I got. And also, it was the first time I heard the steps. And unlike other people, I have always been a spiritual seeker. So the first time I heard the steps, I thought, that is how I want to live my life. At the same time, of course, I did want to lose the weight. And my history with food was that we all have different, some people say, oh, they were grazers or this or that. I was, I guess, what they call now binge eating disorder. In that, when I was around 12, I started dieting. This led into binges. The binges got worse. The dieting got more severe. I would fast or go on strict diets. My weight would go up and down. My dad said I was like a blowfish, that go up, go down. People would say, I've never seen anybody's weight fluctuate as much as yours, because it was just, I was up and down, up and down. And then after a while, I guess when I was about 20, I almost like it was like a rubber band that had been stretched too many times. I lost the ability to diet or starve, So I just kind of was, I would say, what was the word? Matronly. Someone saw a picture of me at the time, like kind of matronly. Like, for those of you who know the reference, I was Ethel Mertz and all my girlfriends were Lucy Ricardo's. And I really wanted to be Lucy Ricardo, the star, but I was Ethel Mertz. And just always, um, I blamed all my problems on my weight and lived a lot in fantasy when I lost the weight. But, it's interesting. I loved the feeling that came from binging was like surrender, like, whew, like I also have an alcohol problem. That's a different qualification, but there was just something about the release, like jumping off a cliff. And I couldn't imagine living a life without that, releasing that pressure valve. Like I thought the goal would be if I could just get my binges down to 1 day a month, like if I could, just eat normally the rest of the time, but I needed that 1 day just to kind of escape from the world, like just escape, like stop the world. I want to get off. I want to have this day just with me and the food and my sweats. And I just needed that. And the idea that I could live 1 day at a time in this world. I love that we call it the gray sheet because it's not black or white, it's gray, like to live in that moderate zone and that a day at a time I could live like that just was inconceivable to me. And I do have to say, okay, I'm just going to just edit out a lot of stuff. But one reason I think for me, the gray sheet food plan works is that we have a structure, a framework, but even within that framework, we can eat different foods. I can choose X or Y. So we don't mention foods, something very light, something very heavy, and it's not people. I'm sure many of us get this. Oh, you're so healthy. You're so healthy. Well, literally, if they saw some of the stuff I eat, like it's my husband knows it's not necessarily healthy. And he, as many of you know, he has called it damage control because he sees what I'll eat at a meal, but then it's over and done and gone to the next, I have life between meals. And for me, when I made the leap from regular way to gray sheet, I had lost all my weight in regular way. I've lost probably about 50 pounds. And, but I had slid back into binging and came into gray sheet off a binge, having gained a few pounds, but not being overweight. And, immediately looked at the gray sheet, started dieting on the gray sheet. And I could not put like more than 4 days of abstinence together. And finally, this was in the early 90s. So before internet and everything, I had to call people on the phone, which I did all the time. And I remember somebody saying, just eat what you want on the gray sheet. Just get into the rhythm of gray sheet and then deal with the weight. And when I became willing to do that, then I was able to start putting days together. And for me, that's, I guess, I think of what has helped me so much in this program are the slogans, like first things first, keeping it simple, easy does it. That's what I did. And right now, I have to say, in abstinence, my challenge with the food is finding that balance between wanting to be comfortable in my clothes on that first day of the month, weigh day, and at the same time needing to be comfortable in my abstinence, in that, sometimes my weight has gone up and then I try to make different choices on the gray sheet. And I do get a little hungry. I do get hungry and cranky and I don't, and I don't want to be like that because the biggest gift of abstinence has been being able to think about something other than food. That's been the biggest gift of abstinence, that I can actually think about other people and I can think about something other than my thighs. I mean, really, um, I do have to say, I wrote myself a question, today I asked, I pray to be a channel. I ask myself, okay, who does God want me to be today? And even for me to say that is so antithetical to how I was raised. And regardless of how one defines God, I think there's a version of myself. There's Paulina 1.0, 2.0, 3.0. And I feel like over my years in Grace, I've become the person I never wanted to be in many ways, because I wanted to be the person who did wear the little black dress, who could go to nightclubs, who could drink. And I was raised in a family. My mother, she was actually a food writer, like she would review restaurants and all that. And she was a foodie before that word even became into our lexicon. And the goal was to be able to go out and eat, go out to eat all the time and just have a little. Just have a little. Just I mean, I went to dinner with we went to dinner with another couple last night, and my girlfriend always does this. She orders dinner, eats like half of it, and then takes half. I'm like, I don't know. Or people who just have a bite of dessert. 5 more minutes. Oh my gosh. All right. There's so much more to say. I wanted to talk more about recovery, but I do want to share one analogy because years ago I had to share on the tradition. I think is tradition one, our group about unity and common, how we do this together. And I thought, anyway, this is me alone in the world, like this little stick, alone. And I easily break. But this is me with all of you. And I cannot break this because it's solid when I'm with you, with all of you, and part of my community, part of the tribe. I'm doing this and doing this no matter what. And I love that no matter what, because it just like cuts out the thinking, like just figure out how to do it. And when I came in my 30s, my biggest challenges were like dating. How do I stay abstinent on dates and traveling? And today I have different challenges, in my life and with aging and blah, blah, blah. But I really believe like if one is committed to this program and willing, you can always work the logistics of how to weigh and measure in whatever situations can be worked out with other people in this program, no matter what. It's just about maintaining that darn willingness, maintaining that willingness. And, I would love if any of you need to have a top look. How do we stay willing? I guess I keep coming to meetings. I try to, remember what it's like. I do. And I definitely don't want to go back there. And I know I can. And how else do I stay willing? I'm not even sure. I'd love to know what your thoughts. And I feel like I've said all I can say this morning. I'd love to hear from all of you. And that's all. Thank you.